Hey there, and welcome back to Quest for You, my little podcast that comes to you 5 days a week, here from Oakland, California, out into this world. And I'm so happy you joined. Episode 231. I think we would all agree that we show up every day. We show up at work because we cannot afford to lose our income. We show up for appointments that we schedule. Dentist, nails, doctor, hair. Because if we don't, there's either a fine or a bad reputation. We show up when we are called upon for our responsibilities. Taking the trash out on garbage day. Paying our bills on time. Doing our taxes, our laundry. We show up when friends and family need us. Or a project at work takes longer. When duty calls, most of us show up. We are responsible people after all, right? But when do we show up for ourselves? What does it mean to show up for yourself? Is that the pint of ice cream after a long, hard day at work? Or the expensive spa retreat on the weekend? Or is it calling in at work from time to time because we feel we need a day off? Showing up for yourself is not in the treating or rewarding yourself. It's not the kicking back and relaxing, sleeping in, lounging around all day kind of thing. That's not to say that you cannot do this from time to time. But showing up stands for something different. I'm not always aware when I show up for myself. But I can detect when I don't show up for myself. When I'm running around all day accomplishing scheduled stuff, like the examples I just mentioned. And then I fall into bed exhausted. I know I'm neglecting myself. When I change my plans to accommodate other people's plans. Maybe they are running late and now I have to wait for them. Or they're asking something of me that I hadn't planned on. When I then sleep in on the weekend and skip my morning walk or swim. Or when I browse Instagram at night for an hour instead of reading the book on my nightstand. Even when I listen to podcasts on the way home from work instead of thinking about that goal I shared with you of promoting my podcast more, then I know I'm not really showing up for myself. I'm disconnected from my goals and my values, and I'm not pursuing what I'm passionate about. I'm merely chasing what chases me, and I'm checking things off. When I am in such a state, I'm always reminded of the famous quote by David Henry Thoreau. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. Even though the second part of this quote may be a misquote, I still think it's a beautiful expression about what happens when we don't show up. Quiet desperation. It's exactly what I feel when I don't show up for myself. Doing what I need to do when what is asked of me, what seems urgent and important in the moment. But it's not what I really want to do. What my heart burns for, what brings joy and a smile to my face. Today, as I was thinking about this episode, a memory came to mind. The time I purchased my first home in a suburb of Dallas. I recall clearly that I never wanted that house. Not there, not at that time. Not with the person I was with. I did it because my partner at the time thought it was a good idea. But everything about the process scared me, felt forced and unnatural. I never saw myself living there for the rest of my life. It seemed so ultimate when I really didn't want this to be my life. People that buy a house are normally excited. Well, I wasn't. I remember cleaning out the apartment we lived in after all the furniture had already moved to the house. Instead of looking forward to moving into my new house, I was deeply sad to leave that apartment, which was just a regular apartment. I couldn't understand at the time what was going on with me. Why was I not excited? My own big house over that small apartment. Today I know it wasn't what I wanted. So I should have never done it. And I gave up that house a few years later. But I didn't see it at the time because I didn't show up for myself. I didn't stand up for what I really wanted. I went with the flow because it seemed to make sense. Why spend money on rent when I can own a home? Logical, right? Well, just because it makes sense for the majority of people doesn't mean it makes sense for you. I lived in quiet desperation for years because of that decision. I never felt happy or fulfilled because I had a house. I reminded myself every day that I should be, especially when people came over and admired it. But as with many material acquisitions in life, they are often unable to bring us happiness if they don't have meaning. Showing up means just what it says. Just like you show up for others, you also need to show up for yourself. Your goals that you have set for yourself, your values and the things that are important to you, the commitments you made with yourself, and the sense of fulfillment you want to obtain from the things that you do. Showing up for yourself starts with asking yourself what kind of life you want to live. Many people never ask. They simply go with the flow, just like I did. They make decisions based on outside influences rather than on what truly matters to them. Showing up for yourself is standing up. It's not easy and comfortable stuff. It's not the short-term bursts of happiness, the quick, feel-good moments. Showing up for yourself is asking yourself, what do I want my life to look like? Now, next year, and in 5 years? And how will I live to get there? Showing up is personal. It's about you and not what others think. Yes, sometimes it means integrating your desires with that of another person, finding a middle ground and a compromise. And when done correctly, it will work in line with your truth. In my case, everything screamed, no, don't do it. But I didn't listen. Not showing up for yourself is not checking in with yourself. It simply is getting up every day and going through the motions. It leads to empty relationships, dead-end jobs, and health and financial issues. And most of all, lost time and many regrets. Standing up for yourself is taking responsibility for your life. Instead of relying on outside circumstances to be right, you take control and you steer your life to where you want it. You tune into yourself and you listen. Something I didn't do well for many years of my life. That empty relationship you've been in for years. When you show up, you don't hope for better times. You show up to make changes that are in line with your values. Had I shown up, I would have never bought the house. And that decision would have probably led to a few other decisions that could have changed the course of my life completely. Not showing up for yourself means neglecting what matters to you. When everything screams no and you still go for it. Or when you simply don't ask yourself if this next decision is in line with what you want your life to look like. We think we show up. We put so much effort into our jobs, our families, and our fun activities. We do what everyone says we should be doing. We follow the schedule and the script. And something must be going right because we are exhausted at the end of the day. But is all of this what you really want? Showing up for yourself is connecting with your truth. It's not always easy to know what that is. But that is what I'm here for, to help you find it. The more you think about it, the more you start asking yourself, especially prior to making decisions, the more clarity you will gain. It doesn't all come overnight, but it starts with one question today. And maybe the same question tomorrow and for a few weeks to come. And that is what showing up for yourself is. Connecting with yourself, finding what matters to you and what you want out of this life, and then living in line with that vision. Much love. Talk to you soon.